Today, we're going to break down one of the most brilliant, most important power moves in all of American history. And get this, it wasn't a battle fought with soldiers and guns, but with legal arguments. And it ended up defining the power of the Supreme Court as we know it. Okay, let's get right into it.
So, picture this. It's 1803. The U.S. is still a new country, kind of figuring things out. Congress, the people we elect, passes a new law. But what if that law seems to break the country's ultimate rulebook, the Constitution? Which one wins? A brand new law or the founding document of the entire nation? Back then, believe it or not, nobody had a clear answer, and that set the stage for a huge constitutional showdown.
And this whole thing kicked off because of a guy named William Marbury. See, he was promised a government job by the president who was on his way out. But when the new president and his party took over, they said, nope, not going to happen, and refused to give him the official paperwork. Marbury argued this was totally illegal, but his case ended up becoming something so much bigger. It basically put the law itself on trial.
And what's so wild about this moment is the sheer uncertainty. I mean, there was no roadmap for this, no precedent. The entire balance of power in this new government was hanging in the balance. And the Supreme Court? Well, it was about to be shoved right into the middle of the storm.
Okay, so to really understand how the court handled this whole mess, we first need to get a quick lay of the land. We need to look at the battlefield itself, the federal court system.
Think of the federal court system like a pyramid, right? At the bottom, the widest part, you have the district courts. That's where most federal cases start. If you don't like the decision there, you can appeal and go up one level to the courts of appeals. And then at the very, very top, the final stop, you have the Supreme Court.
And when I say it's the top, I mean it. The Supreme Court is the ultimate decider on federal law and what the Constitution means. Their rulings are the final word for the whole country. There's nowhere else to go. That's it.
So this court has 9 members called justices. And here's the really important part. They serve for life. Now, why do they do that? It's all about trying to keep them out of politics. The idea is that they can make tough calls based on the law, not on who's popular or what might get them reelected. And boy, are they selective. They get thousands of requests to hear cases every year, but they only take about 100 to 150 of the most important ones.
All right, so let's get back to our crisis. The big question is still hanging in the air. Is the Constitution the supreme law of the land or not? The country needed an answer, and it was going to get one from a single case.
And that case was Marbury versus Madison. You have to understand, this wasn't just about William Marbury's job anymore. This was a heavyweight title fight. In one corner, you had an act of Congress, and in the other, the Constitution of the United States.
Now, the person who had to figure all this out was the Chief Justice, a man named John Marshall. He was in a really tough political corner, but he came up with a solution so brilliant, so elegant, it would literally change the course of American history forever.
I mean, you can't overstate this guy's importance. John Marshall was an absolute titan. He was a veteran of the Revolutionary War, and he went on to become the longest-serving Chief Justice ever. During his time, he didn't just interpret the law, he basically built the Supreme Court into the powerful institution it is today.
Marshall's logic was just so powerful because it was so simple. Think about it like this. The Constitution is the nation's official rulebook, right? It sets up the whole game. Now, Congress can pass new laws. Those are like new plays in the game. But if one of those new plays goes against the actual rulebook, well, the rulebook has to win, every single time. If it doesn't, the rulebook is basically worthless.
And this incredible idea was given a name, judicial review. It is the power, the authority of the courts to look at any law or any government action and say, hold on a second, does this follow the rules of the Constitution?
And if the court decides that a law breaks those fundamental rules, it declares that law unconstitutional. So what does that mean? It means the law is wiped out. It's void. It's like it never even existed. It cannot be enforced. Poof, gone.
So what was the real-world consequence of this brand new power? Well, it was huge. I mean, it fundamentally changed the balance of power between the 3 branches of our government.
Before this case, a lot of people saw the court system as the weakest branch of government, almost an afterthought. But with the power of judicial review, the judicial branch suddenly became a true equal. It now had the power to check both the president and Congress. If Congress passes a law that violates the Constitution, the court can strike it down. If the president takes an action that violates the Constitution, the court can put a stop to it.
And this really is the whole idea in a nutshell. It's so clear, right?
This logic basically turned the Supreme Court into the referee of American government. It's their job to make sure that no matter who's in power, no matter how popular a law might be, everyone still has to play by the rules, the ultimate rules in the Constitution.
34 years. Just let that sink in. For over 3 decades, John Marshall led the court, and he used that time to cement its power, to strengthen the federal government, and to leave a mark on this country that's arguably greater than most presidents.
Which leaves us with a really deep question. John Marshall brilliantly established that it's the court's job to say what the law is. They get the final say on the Constitution. But if the Supreme Court is the one holding Congress and the president accountable, who holds the court accountable? And that, right there, is a question that people are still debating with a ton of passion to this very day.